interesting to see how that goes for the rest of the season. As we start to grid up here, let us run through the starting order here at Darlington. The course that is too tough to tame, of course. Okay, so on the front row of the grid, we have Andrew Dyson with Joshua Carroll Walden. Second row of the grid, we have Neil Pearson with Barry Neal, last week's winner. Third row, we have Jason Martin with Danny G. Fourth, Michael Skurlock with Hamish Gallagher. Fifth row is Stephen Williams with Josh Micklemore. Sixth is Riley Curtis with Ryan Jones. Seventh, we have Room Phelps with Scott Griffith. Eighth, Norman Clark, Phil Otto. Ninth, Trahir and Robbie. 10th, we have Foster and Schultz. 11th, we have Urquio and Jackson. 12th is Priest and Dortonak. 13th, we have Raymond and Anastakis. 14th, we have Spencer and Witcher. And on the final row of the grid, we have Anne Rozelle and Christopher Finlay. So, interesting starting order. Good to see Aidan Schultz making it through into qualifying. He's had a little bit trouble just getting running this season, but he's managed to get through. A few drivers getting back into the grid this race. Darlington, of course, so notoriously hard to work at, and Andrew Dyson getting that pole position. Fantastic job from him, and one of those drivers that we really have to watch out for. We saw in the trucks this year, he ran 2 races and won both of them, so he is wanting to carry that momentum over here into the ANZCAR Cup Series. Gets away a little bit sluggish, but he's going to catch up quite quickly. Luckily, because it's a short track, you get a little bit of extra time to catch up to a pace car here. So we should be looking at a pretty good race. I think Dave Douglas has just got a little bit of problems, so he should be joining us hopefully back shortly here for the race at Darlington.
In the meantime, Carl will jump in and say hi to everyone. This is actually Dave's last broadcast with us before he rejoins this field, hopefully next week as well. So quick shout out to the boys at AJ Insurance Services for their ongoing support for our stream, and for everyone out there watching, if you are watching, whether you're watching it live or on replay, don't forget to hit that like button, follow button, notification button, whatever it is on whatever channel you're watching. It helps support the stream as we get set to go racing here at Darlington.
Yeah, getting ready to go. Andrew Dyson's got that inside line. Josh Carroll Walden on the outside. Green light will start shortly. Leader has problem. If he gets out, gets loose on the start there. That's going to give JCW the opportunity to try and pounce up on the high line. The high line can work quite well here at Darlington, of course. But Andrew Dyson manages to slot it up in front of JCW there. Manages to get the car in nicely into that high groove. Good start there at the front of the grid. Good, clean start from what I can see down the grid at the moment, as well as Andrew Dyson does take the lead. Good start for him. Really good recovery from that bit of wheel spin there.
Yeah, absolutely. They're getting underway here and getting a ripping start. And it is Andrew Dyson and Joshua Carroll Walden up the front here. You're right, very clean start from everyone. We are thinking there's going to be a number. Oh, as he just gets a little bit loose there, that's going to give JCW their run as they head down the back straight here. And Joshua Carroll Walden does take over the lead of this race. A little bit of a mistake there. It's going to be really easy for the drivers to do that tonight if they're not careful. They just get below that dotted line and it's going to get loose.
Yeah, it's so easy for the car to drift up here. You run so close to the barrier as well. You're running close to that wall, and it is very unforgiving. Luckily, he's got his teammate Neil Pearson just behind him at the moment, but he's going to start falling back a little bit, and this is going to give JCW a nice bit of lead here, a little bit of breathing room as well.
Yeah, JCW started us off really well on back. Boys, a little bit of an issue there with the internet, but the 35 is doing a great job out front, just making a little bit of a gap between him and the guys behind him. So going perfectly at the moment for the 35 car.
Yeah, going perfectly for him. Not so much for the 041 of Andrew Dyson, who's dropped back a little bit. He's just dropped back down to 4th position right now. Let his teammate get through, and Barry Neal managed to make that pounce as well to get through there and jump up ahead of him. So Barry Neal trying to go back to back as well, trying to get the Aratori car up into the winner's circle once more and try and get that pronunciation right for the team. Sorry about that last week.
Yeah, absolutely great run from Barry last week, getting the W last week, and yeah, looking to have a strong run here tonight as we're looking at the 350 of Michael Sherlock. Working lap number 5 here through 1 and 2 at the moment. Tough track this one. Look for these boys to be starting to get loose, and yeah, these cars are loose as hell tonight out here.
Yeah, they do not look easy to ride in at the moment. Just looking through the field at the moment, people have gained a few positions as they go around. Currently, Ryan Jones sitting up in the sort of top 10. He's managed to gain 3 positions. He's up there in 9th position at the moment, so good little drive from Ryan Jones. He's just chasing down Hamish Gallagher, who just taps the barrier a little bit. His teammates are in front of him of Danny G and Jason Martin, so a bit of a Mitch Motorsport train in front of him, and that's allowing Michael Scarlett to pull away as well. So be interesting to see how this goes. There's another little bit of contact for Andrew Dyson as well. I just saw, just out the corner of my eye, just a few sparks coming off of his car. Not the perfect start that he would have wanted after that great qualifying lap.
No, definitely not. And Ryan Jones was lucky to get into this race. He sent me a screenshot of his quali lap, and he was right out sideways, nearly got in the wall. So luckily he's in there, and he's racing hard with his boys. There's Mitch Motorsport, a bit of a sandwich here at the moment with Ryan Jones, and he's got Danny G in front of him, and just past Hamish Gallagher on the inside. So a nice little move there for the 111 with Ryan Jones.
Oh, that's it. You come up, you get locked in the booth with me for a bit of time, and you go back out on track and you become good all of a sudden. Hopefully we'll see that from you.
Oh, we'll see, mate. I didn't even think I was going to get to commentate tonight. As soon as the broadcast went live, everything started failing. So it had its little...
As we got a car going round, the number 5 going round.
And we got the cars checking behind. Skurlock's, he's going to make contact with another car down below on the apron there. But that's got Griffiths there. We got, Aiden Schultz, sorry.
Yeah, Aiden Schultz getting caught there up in the wall, trying to avoid that one. Aiden Schultz's peripheral bad luck coming back again as he just tries to make avoiding action there. Very hard to pull it up here. He just looks like he might have just lost it going in there. Maybe got a bit of a tap from behind from Foster, actually. So, yeah, big moment there as they just tried to slow it down under braking, tried to avoid that accident, but didn't work out too well. Foster getting a big bump on the front of his nose.
Yeah, just jumping back to replay there. Norman Clark sort of made that contact on the inside of Aiden Schultz late in that piece, but yeah, definitely the 43 Electra Hair up on the inside of Scott Griffith, I think it was, and just awkward contact, so I'm not sure what goes there. One came down, there's a replay there, so I'm sure 43 will think the 5 came down and the 5 will think the 43 came up, but they met in the middle, and that's the result there as we check out the slow motion replay as the 43 gets into the outside wall there.
Yeah, that's it. It's one of those big moments, and it caused a chain reaction behind them as well, as we said, with Foster and Schultz, and then Norman Clark just getting caught, just slightly tagged in the two fat blokes car, in the Atari Autosport car as well. So just getting that little bit of a smack for Norman Clark there. So a few little bits of damage early on in this race for those guys. Of course, Darlington, it's not too severe if you get a few little taps here and there. A couple of love taps aren't going to hurt your night. I've seen a few people jump into pit lane already. Riley Curtis, Mirko Dortnack, Luke Trahare, Lachlan Oquio, Ariana Stackers, Greg Spencer, Justin Witcher and Christopher Finley all jumped into pit lane with this caution out.
Yeah, if you're towards the back, there's not much to play for right now, so take a bit of fuel. They won't be taking tyres, they'll just be topping up and just try to get them offset from the field, and might come back to him in the end, but Scott Griffiths got away with that one fairly unscathed. I think he just went across the car, didn't actually make contact with the wall, so don't think he'll have too much damage at all, so yeah, he should be able to continue on there, and those other guys will just probably come down pit lane, get a few dents repaired, and continue on, I'd say, as well.
Yeah, get the old hammer out and smash out a few panels and make it back to looking somewhat pretty. But yeah, Scott Griffiths got very lucky there. That could have been a lot worse for him. He sort of got the best of the situation. You've got to say, Luke Trey had quite a lot of damage on the right front and left front of that car as well. Big gouge in the left front over the wheel arch there as well for him. So quite a bit of damage out there already as we are on lap 11 of 135.
Yeah, definitely not ideal. That'll have a little bit of a bearing effect on the tyre wear throughout the run. As you can see, that left front rubbing on that tyre, the guard there, so that does affect the tyres. So not ideal, but at least he's still mobile. He should have all his horsepower there as well. So he'll continue on, but it'll be just less than ideal, I guess.
That's it, and it's never fun having a damaged car, and as long as there's not too much damage to the suspension, it's not too bad, but any damage is always a bad thing. The less damage you have, of course, the easier it is to get through the race. And two cars that are looking pretty good at the moment are the number 35 and number 9. up front of JCW and Neil Pearson. They are leading at the moment. JCW is going to lead away as the pace car comes into pit lane. JCW is going to wait for it. When is he going to launch the car? Is he going to get away nice and cleanly? We'll soon find out. He gets a good launch. Oh, it goes up! He loses it. He actually lost the back end there.
Oh my goodness, that is a bad one for the 35 there. That's gonna scatter this field immensely through there. It's just, he's got some steering damage there too by the looks of it as well. As we're right on board, he's got left hand down and stay green though. We're going racing here. He did a full 360, and yeah, we're still racing here, boys.
Yeah, we are racing indeed, but that was a disastrous restart for him. That has helped out though is the actual pole sitter of Andrew Dyson. So Andrew Dyson has got up to the front of this race with Danny G behind him. Danny G's worked his way up there. We saw that JCW actually went up and caught Neil Pearson as well. So it was a big moment. A lot of those front runners did get caught up in that, and it just shows how treacherous.
Flag possibly there coming down pit lane, so he may have passed before the yellow. Like I said, there's a lot of jumble, a lot of confusion there as Josh had a spin there. So
Andrew Dyson having to come in as well, so he might have got the black flag
down. Yeah, so and he just gets her in there. So there might be a few black flags, but just as that sort of restart started, a lot of cars towards the back of it, they all just slide up into that fence. There's so little grip out there.
Well, that's it, Dave. It is such a slippery track, and this is what people tend to forget and sort of don't really think about oval racing as much. It's not as easy as just turning left sometimes, because you have tracks like Darlington where there is such low grip. It's a very different skill set. It's Danny G getting so close to the wall.
He's got his Darlington stripe. He won't be the first, and he won't be the last tonight.
No, he just absolutely, if you're going to run to the wall, that's what you need to do. Just absolutely just give it the perfect little kiss and just not do anything else. He's got his teammate Hamish Gallagher behind him and Michael Skurlock now. They've pulled out a 3.5 second lead over Stephen Williams.
35 is having a half spin. Just got contact from the 52, I think. Sorry, just to cut over you there. Let's go back and have a look. Yeah, the 52, you got into the left rear of the 35 in turn 1. Had a half spin saves that got going again.
Yeah, good save there. Managed to keep it going in the right direction, and yeah, as I say, it's not easy out there. But that was from a very bad restart to a very good save for JCW.
Yeah, it started out perfect, as we were saying earlier in the call, and when I was saying it, I thought to myself, I don't put the mocker on him, but I thought, you know what, he's got a good gap, we'll do it, and yeah, sure enough, he went and binned it. So unlucky, but he will fight on. Hopefully he's got enough car speed left and he can work his way back up the field.
Yeah, that's it. It's all about working your way back up there and damage control now. That's the name of the game. Just looking for Jason Martin, actually.
Yeah, Jason Martin's dropping back. I'm not sure why. But
I think I saw him in the pit lane or going down a pit lane. So he has had a problem. I'm going to try and find out exactly what's happened. Saw him down on the actual infield. He's had to come through pit lane as well, so he's had to serve a penalty as well by the looks of things. So that's why Jason Martin's dropped right off and down a few laps.
He might be just being kind and getting out the road of those guys on the lead lap. There's a good possibility there because Jason's a good racer. Guys move out the road from him and he'll do the same for them. So that's probably what that is. As we see the yellow car up ahead of Roselle. Having a look. Oh, now there's some contact with Norman Clark on the outside as we're on too wide with Roselle off turn 2 here. Hopefully these guys get through there, and he's got the 43 here. Oh, he doesn't. He gets into the back. Ryan Curtis is into him, and they're both in the defence on the inside wall. We called it. I said too wide. It's hard to run too wide. It's possible. It is hard though. You've got to give room, but Norman just tried to carry too much speed on the outside line and just pushed in that defence, and very, very easy to do. You literally, he would have been off the throttle when he would have pushed up into the defence there. Yeah,
and caught Riley Curtis with that one. Unfortunately, Riley Curtis is the one that got really caught up with that one. Not what he wanted to have happen there. So unfortunate for Riley Curtis there as well as Norman Clark, who was having a good little run up until that point. But yeah, it's so easy, and it is very hard to run too wide here at Darlington. Obviously, you are running that higher line as well, and you're so close to the wall. And that's the thing that makes a difference, is you are running right next to that wall, so there is not any room for error.
No, that's correct. I'd be surprised if they didn't both get some engine damage out of that too, which is the really big killer on these sort of tracks. Aero is not too bad, but if you lose any sort of that engine horsepower, those revs, your night's pretty much done anyway. But yeah, as you said, the 93 absolutely no fault of his own, and innocent victim there just went for a ride, basically.
Yeah, it's sometimes the case on oval racing. It's just not your day, it's just not your night, and you just get caught up. Looks like we might have a big glut of cars coming into pit lane right now.
Yep, there you go.
So they're all going to come in. We've done 20 laps so far, so they're going to chuck some fuel on board. We might see some people changing some right tyres, maybe?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's still very early for me. 135 laps, only lap 20, so I reckon maybe just fuel here.
Yeah, it's not much of a run, and of course they do only have 4 sets of tyres, so they've only got 3 sets of tyres left to put on these cars, so they've got to be careful with tyre allocation. You can't go using too much, as Danny G just gets past his pit box. He missed his pit box slightly. He's getting some tyres though, definitely tyres going on those cars, so just the right side and left side going on.
Yeah, I see there's a Cranky Sports car going up on Jack. Pearson's going up on the Jacks as well there, so yeah, they've taken tyres. I thought it might have been too early, but yeah, we'll see what happens here. There's a bunch of them in, and a bunch of them stayed out. Josh Mickelmore's in there, Ruben Phelps is in there, Justin Witcher's another guy in there, so there's a whole heap in there, and a whole heap stayed out as well.
Yeah, and this is going to help a couple of those drivers that got caught out with penalties earlier on get some laps back, get up on time. Just seeing Phil Otto, unfortunately, he's had to pull out of this race due to some technical difficulties, so big shame for Phil. We wish him well, and hopefully we'll see him back shortly. But Danny G is currently the first of the guys that has taken a stop. It's got Matty Raymond coming in this time around as well. He's just waited for the pit lane to clear out a little bit, so he's coming in now rather than coming in when all of the other field, the rest of the field, are pitting. So could be a good idea for Matty Raymond. Something that I sometimes like to do is just go a bit of an extra lap around and come into a nice clean pit lane. He's just come in for fuel, so he's not taking any tyres on, just chuck some more fuel in that car to get it going a little bit longer.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just coming through the field, just looking at the damage. The 52 car, she's all torn up. I think he's got every corner of that thing dented. The boot, not much fault of his own, to be honest. But yeah, got caught up a bit earlier, and yeah, he's got a lot of damage on that 52. So first race in 3 weeks, I think it is, for Aiden, and hasn't gone according to plan. But at least he's still circulating for now.
Well, that's it. The amount of mirrors he's broken has not been good this season for Aiden. He's still got a clean roof though, so we'll see if he can scratch up that roof at some stage tonight.
I reckon he's saying.
Let's hope we don't see that. But his teammate Mirko Dortnak is leading this race at the moment. As we heard from Skurlock earlier in the season, the master of strategies, Mr. Mirko Dortnak, of course, with the famous ANZCAR victory that he got, his one victory in the Cup Series, getting it on a beautiful strategy call mid-race, pitting when everybody went, why pitting now, Mirko? That makes no sense, and ending up winning the race. So I
think I might have been part of his team at that point there, and it was a strange one because no one expected it, and it was the simplest of strategies. The way he put it was he just divided the race up into thirds or quarters, I think he did, and yeah, he just stuck to it and came out as a winner.
Yeah, worked out perfectly for him. So it is his turn to start this race, and we've seen it has been tricky. We've seen both cars on the low line struggle for grip on the restart. So how will Mirko go this time around? He's got Pari Anastakis in the 144 on his outside, so we'll see how the inside line goes on this restart now, as the pace car will be coming in very, very shortly. Just this final turn to go.
And remembering that half the field's on new tyres and this front half isn't, so I think from Mickelmore back, Danny G back. Yeah, so it's not too many cars in front of back, so we're about to go green. I'll let you call it.
So as we go around, Mirko puts the foot down and just goes very gently and gets away well there. Good restart. Anastakis doesn't quite get the pull he needs, doesn't get the start he wants on that one, and falls back a little bit, but a good restart there from Mirko Dortnak. Danny G's going to go up there. It's all, as you can see, Mickelmore sliding up the track there, getting loose through mid-corner. Michael Skurlock putting some pressure on him right now as well. As you see Mirko falling back through these best pack of cars on fresh tyres.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's going to get swamped here, but he's made his bet now, so he's sleeping it. But he's just got to not get too caught up with these guys on fresh tyres as well, otherwise it'll cost him and those guys time on this track at the moment. But you can see he's got Ryan Jones and Ruben Phelps and Ed Foster, the next 3 cars behind him after that.
Yeah, that's it. Quite a few of those cars working their way up there and getting their way back up after some unfortunate...
Oh, he gets the wall on the outside of 62, just like Norman Clark, but not as hard as another car back there. I think Justin Witcher might have done the exact same thing, so it's a common theme, and it's, as I said, it's very easy to do as he gets really close from the 62 up against the wall again out of turn 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Oh, he gets a hit from Ruben Phelps, and that's Evan Foster hard into the inside fence. Back onto the field. Oh, Matty Raymond just sneaks through there. There's heaps of cars. He just got T-boned by someone else back there.
That was a huge incident there.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks like... Oh, yeah, Foster's engine is gone there. Just going back to have a little bit of a look at that. And, yeah, it just looks like...
Matty Raymond he pulled out from behind Josh Carroll-Walden, and absolutely, there must be a cigarette paper between him and Edward Foster as we watch Matty Raymond here on the replay. He pulls out, and he just sneaks through. And then find the car. You go, Carl.
Yeah, that was just so close there. You can't really get closer than that. I want to see a onboard of that from Matty Ray.
Here we go, onboard from Matty Raymond as he comes in. He's going to pull out through the smoke, can't see nothing, and then all of a sudden there'll be a number 53 right in front of him here, and he just sneaks up the inside without hitting it. He goes to go high. He goes to go low. He just sneaks through there. But if we can jump on board with Christopher Finlay too, he's the one that actually cleaned Edward up after that wreck. So here we go. Boom.
Big T-bone.
Right side of the 53.
Barry Neal as well, just getting clipped with that one and gets clipped in the side. So luckily not going to be too much damage to the Attori Autosport car there, but the Attori racing car, sorry. But still some damage to that car, and as I said, that beautiful Mary-inspired livery on that car as well. But yeah, that was insane, and you can see how bad the smoke is as well. That's the big thing. The smoke is terrible. As I'm just watching Christopher Finlay, he just tried to get into pit lane and just overshot it actually, and he did not make pit entry. It looks like he's just locked up and gone straight into the dustbins of doom at the beginning of pit lane.
Yeah, that's no good. I'm just watching how that actually all started because remember Edward Foster's the loser. Actually, there's a wreck behind him. Witcher got turned by, I think, the 52 of Aidan Schultz as well. So there was multiple wrecks there. But the original started with the 62 got loose and then net coded into the 06 of Ruben Phelps. But I'm pretty sure off their turn here, they get into their own accident. Yeah, certainly do. Here we go. So the 52 has actually hooked the 10 here, and they had their own little party down the back there.
Yeah, it's sort of double incident there. That's going to be an interesting one because, of course, with incidents like that, if that actually, because they pretty much happened simultaneously, didn't they, really? So yeah, that's the big thing. It's going to be tricky to work out actually who bought the caution out on that one, because with the, you don't know how the rules work in ANZCAR. Sort of penalties go to the person that brings out the caution, of course. So it's generally when a caution comes out, that's when things get looked into, unless there's a protest. So it'll be interesting to see which of those incidents brought out the caution, because in fact that could be a very depending factor there on a couple of drivers, because if that caution was brought out by the 52 rather than the
yeah, I think he might have been 53. I think he might start there first. Well, I mean, no fault of Edwards there, but he just got caught up in someone else's crash. Yeah. But I'm going to blame that on you, Carl. I think Aiden might have been trying to get that out roof, mate.
trying to get that roof dented, yeah.
Yeah, there was plenty to dissect in that one, so that was a big one.
Yeah, that was a huge crash. And look, we talk about big ones on the super speedways, of course, and that's always a big moment. But on these shorter tracks, especially here at Darlington, this track is a real tough one to drive on. You are only moments away from a massive stack up.
Yeah, absolutely. As you see, Mirko, mate, he was hardly even driving that car, just on those old tyres, and it just got loose on him. Like, you don't even hardly have to touch the throttle. It is very tough, this racetrack. Don't underestimate it. And yeah, unfortunately, got a little bit loose, and then as he was coming down the track, it's net coated into Ruben Phelps, which then just a chain reaction from there, unfortunately.
Yeah, real shame there, and a shame to see Foster out so early as well, because obviously fighting for the championship, a lot of these guys are, but I imagine he's going to be not too happy with that one, as we will be going back to green flag racing very, very shortly.
Foster's an old school racer, so he loves old tracks like this, so yeah, he'll be a bit bummed about being out this early.
Yeah. That's...
he's in the infield, Kirsten, actually. Maybe we'll just watch this replay and then we'll grab him if you like, Carl. We'll just get the race going here and we'll bring him up.
Yeah, we'll get this restart underway. It's going to be Danny G leading Hamish Gallagher on the outside. So Danny G is going to have that sort of slightly cursed position on the inside line. And we've seen it's been tricky there all night long. So let's see how he goes with this one. Hopefully he's going to get a nice clean restart. It's going to have to be nice and soft on that accelerator, but he's got a teammate on the outside to help him out. He gets away, doesn't get too much wheel fit. Oh, bit of that and a bit of scarlet behind him as we get caught up, as Ruben Phelps gets caught up in that one.
As we stay green, we're still green flag here, so Ruben's going to gather that up, but still green at the front.
Still green at the front. Very tricky conditions out there. And as we've seen another incident at the restart, we've got Edward Foster up in the booth with us. Ed, how's it going? Obviously not wanting to see you here this early in the race.
No, not wanting to be here at all. But there you go. You qualify down among the wankers. That's what you get.
It looks very, very tricky out there tonight. From your experience, how slippery is the track out there?
It's extremely slippery. It's very, very slippery, especially after you get a few laps on the tyres. It's very, very hard to drive. I mean, it's manageable. It's completely manageable. You just need to be giving each other space and to drive a little bit sensibly, and there's not really too much of a problem. It's just something that you need to be able to recognise and manage.
Yeah, big shame though. We saw that incident and you sort of getting caught up in that one. It looks like the engine is completely done for. Are you going to be able to get back out there, or is that your night done?
No, it's done, mate. It's a 40-minute repair, and when I come back out on track, it's just going to blow. So, yeah, it's done.
Really sorry to hear that. Look, hopefully we'll have you back in the booth with some better news and better times for you in the future. Thank you so much for joining us, Edward Foster, Natari Autosport.
Yeah, not the way this season's going, mate.
Ed Foster there. Obviously, hard season so far this year for him. Last year's champion, and it just shows how quick things can turn in motorsport.
Yeah, absolutely. Real shame. As I said, he's an old school racer. He loves this track, and he loves them old 87 NASCAR, so he'll be bummed being out this early. But just watching his cars, they just look like they're on eggshells at the moment. Just the body language of the cars, they're just moving around. It's almost, it may as well be raining out there, I'd say.
Yeah, it is really, really slick out there and very tricky to drive. I'm just watching some of these cars and I would not want to be out there, in all honesty. As much as I love racing, I would not. I'm much happier in the booth tonight for sure.
Yeah, just watching Neil Pearson, he's going too wide through 1 and 2 here, so... as the 293 gets out into the wall, just exactly like Norman Clark done, and many others have tonight, and... yeah, you just washed up, you have that aero wash, so he's going to lose a couple more spots out of that. Scott Griffiths is dropping back as well. As Josh Carroll Waldron is trying to fight his way back through the field as he gets sideways off turn 4 and holds it nicely.
Yeah, now you might know a little bit more about this, but didn't they do a little bit of an update to the track with the latest update very, very recently?
Yeah, they certainly did. So last night or the night before, they did do an update, and I think it was a service update. I know that for sure. I don't know whether it was for the multi-group sort of stuff. I think it was, and that's probably why it's made it a little bit slippery as well. Probably more accurate to what it is, because yeah, we know it's definitely not the easiest track to tame, as they say in real life. So as Matty Raymond's making a look up the inside of the 35 now, up in turn 1 here, to see if these guys can get this done without sideways he holds it. There's five of Scott Griffiths up behind him as well, so yeah, these guys are racing hard, but yeah, definitely an update on the track surface.
Yeah, and I wonder how much it's actually affecting the guys out there. Sorry, affecting some of the guys out there tonight, just throwing them off a little bit. As you did say, Foster does love this track. He actually jumped in the Truck Series this year and took out the victory here at Darlington earlier in the season for the Truck Series. And yeah, it is always a shame, especially when your race is done so early. But we've seen a few cars unfortunate in that tonight. But it's just keeping the cars clean and keeping it out there now. People are just got to try not to race too hard at the moment. I think that's one of the issues some of the guys are having.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm just looking at the leader here, 24, Daniel Greshleskovic. He's had good fortunes here. I'm pretty sure he won the cup race, or he went close to winning a cup race, possibly even on the last lap against his teammate. Maybe a bit of contact. I can't remember clearly, but I'm sure that there was contact between him and a teammate once to win a race here. And he's having a good run tonight. He's out front, doing everything right. He's got a teammate behind him, so touch wood, they don't come together. But you got Hamish behind him, and Skurlock in the 350, who's ever present at the front. And he's running in third at the moment.
Well, he's the only car keeping it from a Mitch Motorsport 123 at the moment, as Josh Micklemore just sits behind him, another driver that is very good on this Darlington circuit. You've got some very good Darlington specialists in that team as well. Mitch Motorsport, one of those teams that when they started up, we all just said, well, that's the team that's going to win everything, and they often do, because they have got such a broad range of talent in their team that they've got a lot of drivers that are very good on these surfaces. But don't count out Skurlock. His car may look like a bit of a dog's dinner at the moment, especially on that right front, but he can still get things done. We know Skurlock can pull it out of the bag. Don't count him out at all. Perry Anastakis is doing a good job at the moment. He's running up there in the top 10. He's only got the one stop at the moment, and he's still on those original tyres. So he hasn't changed tyres yet. So he's still on those old boots. But keeping that car out there at the moment, so he has a little bit more to play with later on in this race if we get a few more cautions.
Yeah, his gaps are just fluctuating at the moment, so this front three are just sliding up a bit here, and I'm just looking back. Ryan Jones is actually catching Josh Micklemore now too, so Ryan Jones having a good run, and he's got James Robbie behind him in 6th position, which is great to see James up there after a tough couple of races. So he's back tonight and having a good run, but these guys, as soon as they can close down, as Hamish is ranging up onto the back of the 24 now, so these guys are probably...
Danny G just goes up into the wall, 24 up into the wall.
And that's 31 in the background, sorry about that. Yeah, hit exactly what his teammate did, so now Ryan Jones is all over the back of the 31, and so too the 13 over the 24.
Yeah, and this has given Skurlock the chance to get right up there as well for this battle at the front. There is it's also given James Robbie a chance to close up as well. We know James Robbie's quite good on loose stuff as well. He's one of those drivers that's quite good on the dirt circuits, things like that. So a little bit of loose track grip is not going to be affecting him too much.
Up on that wall again. He's up there again at 24's. 13 is going to look to his inside. Will he try and make a move down here? The 350 is going to do it, because he's not a teammate. He doesn't care. He's going for it.
Scully go down the inside. Is he going to make it stick? He's going to try.
Oh, Jesus, good racing, boys. They've just done a crisscross, and the 13 comes back.
This has given Danny G a little bit of a chance to get a bit of a breathing room out from those two guys. Just behind him, Ryan Jones is going to make the move on Josh Micklemore right now. He's gone down the inside. He's going to try and make it stick. James Robbie's all over the back of Micklemore as well. So battles all across the track right now. Neil Pearson as well fighting his way back. He's worked his way back up to 7th position after that early incident. So great job from Neil.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great exchange too from the 13 and the 350 the lap before. But Neil Pearson and James Robbie are going to look to try and get past the 31 of Josh Micklemore now and continue their run up the field. As Pearson ducks out to have a look, and he's going to make the path down into turn 3.
Yeah, Pearson going for that, and he's going to make it stick in front of Robbie there, and he's going to try and get Micklemore as well, who seems to be struggling a little bit, just running wide. He seems to be washing wide like his teammate Danny J at the moment.
Yeah, and as I said, it's just very easy to do, and those guys have got the clean air as well. Like, Josh not so much now, but Danny G definitely had the clean air. He was out front, so even in the clean air, you're still getting a lot of push in these cars.
You are, as the battle rages on at the moment. It looks like Pearson, his car is pretty clean actually. He's got a few dents here and there, but it's not looking too bad. Josh Micklemore, again, just a little bit of a wrinkle in the bonnet at the moment. Not many cars out there looking like they're without any scratches on them, in all honesty. I think every car in the field at the moment has some form of little ding in the side.
Pearson's all over the back of the 31 now. He's going to look to go down into turn 3, and Josh actually backs out of it. Almost sort of caused the 41 to have a bit of a random check up there, because he sort of wasn't expecting to get out of it. But that's the pass done. So Josh is looking to just consolidate for now. He knows when to race and when not to race, and he just made that easy for Pearson.
Yeah, it looks like Micklemore might just be not pushing too hard at the moment. Just trying to get those tyres lasting a little bit longer, maybe. Just trying to get a little bit more life in there. As you see, James Robbie just behind him was just sideways coming out that corner. So big moment for him. Maddie Raymond as well, a little bit further down the field as well, had a bit of a scary moment, a little bit of sideways action. So he's made it through as well. So luckily they've managed to keep it going. But James Robbie is trying to get past Micklemore right now. He's trying to get that little bit of toe, a little bit of run on him. Not quite working at the moment. He's got to try and sort of make the slide job happen almost.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just watching a little battle between Aiden. He's up and behind Anastakis. Oh, the 31's hard into the wall on the outside. Same deal as all the other guys have been doing. As the 41 now, James Robbie makes that pass down on the inside as Josh just makes it easier. Oh, now he gets up into the wall as well. So as we've been saying all night, very slippery out there.
Yeah, the trouble is, as soon as you go offline as well, you get onto those, get onto the marbles sometimes, and that's it. And that can almost be night over, can't it? That's the other big issue, of course, when you're passing.
The leader just got into the wall too, so the 13's about to go down the inside. So exactly what Josh did on the lap before. So now 13 to the point of this race. We have a new race leader this time by Hamish Gallagher.
Hamish Gallagher out there in the Taylor Swift liveried-esque car that he loves to run. A bit of a Taylor fan, I hear. But he's got Skurlock chasing him down now, so it's going to be interesting to see how Skurlock does here, because he's managed to get past Danny G right now, so this is going to get an interesting battle. But Hamish Gallagher is trying to run away, trying to get a good bit of a lead, but he's got a fast charger Skurlock behind him.
Definitely, and they're into lap traffic now, so you can see they've just passed Ruben Phelps, who's possibly a couple laps down. I can see another two, and then there's another pack of 3 cars ahead of them, so this can play effect, because as I said, too wide through this track is not easy. It makes you a little bit nervous when you have a few cars around, especially when they're the leaders.
We've got a green flag pit stop. We've got Ryan Jones coming into the lane. So he's coming in now for, I think, the second time. So he's coming in to try something a little bit different, I think. So we'll keep an eye on that a little bit later in the race and see what happens with Ryan Jones there. Just got mentioned from Trev Micklemore there, just about Josh, not his favourite of tracks. I think a few drivers have that sentiment, but it might not be his favourite, but he's still quick here. That's the thing about Josh Micklemore. He may not enjoy a track, but he's still quick at the ones he doesn't like. Yeah,
definitely, and it's a really a love-hate. I reckon the 50, I won't even say 50-50. I reckon it's probably more like 80 hate it and 20% love it. So you either love it or you hate it. There's no in between here.
Yeah, it's up there on Sonoma levels for me. It's not a track that I love.
If I'm being honest with you, boys, tonight, I'm glad I've still got one more week in the booth here.
you might have chosen just to extend that little stay in the booth one night longer with Darlington up there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. When I went out there and tested out there before, I was like, this is good. I'm glad I'm nice and comfy up in the booth with you boys.
And Skurlock is starting to actually make inroads on Hamish Gallagher, as we see Trahir and Micklemore there side by side as well. We've got Mitch Motorsport on Crank Esport action going up and down the field at the moment, but Luke Trahir manages to get past Micklemore there and get that position made. Nice move from Luke Trahir.
Yeah, it was a nice move, nice and clean. As I said, Micklemore's not putting up too much of a fight. There's no need for him. He'll only get himself into an accident if he does, more than likely. So for now, he's just, if you get the nose there, he's just going to give it to you, and that's the smart racer right there. And Skurlock is sort of building up his sort of momentum here. He's putting the pressure on the 13.
Oh, just jumping back a little bit to Danny G and Neil Pearson as well. That battle is heated up as well. Pearson is all over the back of Danny G. So sort of watching both battles at the moment, keeping an eye on which one's going to be the juiciest. I think that's the tricky call at the moment. But Skurlock's making the move, so we're going to stick with Skurlock, I think, for the moment. He tries to make the move, can't quite make it stick this time around. He's got the slightly higher line. This should give him better drive off the corner, so he should get a little bit better speed. Let's see how this pays off for him.
It's a bit too far to make the move down into turn 1, but that's where he's been making his moves tonight, is down into turn 1. He likes that sending it up the inside, basically almost a slide job, if you will, like in the dirt. Just slide her up there, get up to the wall and try and block that pass, but they can fight back on the inside like we saw earlier with the third team, same drivers. We've got the 62 of Mirko just pulling down the apron, letting the cars go by here as well, so good to see good camaraderie out there.
As just a bit further back, Neil Pearson's making the move on Danny G at the moment as they make contact out of the corner. They both keep it pointing in the same direction, just a little bit of rubbing, and rubbing is racing. Good pass there from Neil Pearson, getting down underneath Danny G.
Yeah, just had to lean on him a little bit there, and as you said, Lauren's racing. There's other tracks you'd rather do it than here, but they managed to get away with it, and yeah, as you said, kept it straight, and they battle on.
Yeah, the important thing is keeping that car pointing in the right direction, and that is what they managed to do. So good job from both those drivers to keep it from going around there. Now Danny G has James Robbie trying to chase him down. Luke Trahere just behind James Robbie in 6th position at the moment. Josh Micklemore now has a train of cars of Stephen Williams and Matty Raymond behind him. So there is a big battle going on at the moment with Stevie Dub and Matty Ray. So we have got a few cars up there, a few seasoned veterans of the ANZCAR series right now in a great little battle.
Yeah, absolutely. Josh just got into the wall in the middle of turn 3 and 4 last lap by, and Stephen Williams does the exact same thing there. He gets up on the wall. So it's a common theme here. I spoke about earlier, the Darlington stripe. I'm pretty sure every single car there has a stripe on it now.
Yeah, they're turning into zebras out there tonight. There are so many stripes out there, but yeah, doing a good job of just keeping the cars going at the moment. This is what we needed to see, just the drivers settle down a little bit, not pushing so hard as they were earlier on. Everybody was just going a little bit too hard, I think, a bit earlier on, and just unfortunately, as it can happen in racing, you get a little bit revved up and accidents happen quite quickly. We're seeing some good racing now. I'll put the commentator's curse on it, of course. Hamish Gallagher's still got the lead over Michael Skurlock in the Mitch Motorsport Crank Esport battle. Neil Pearson's trying to chase them down at the moment. Pearson is faster the last couple of laps. He's about 2 tenths faster that last time round, so he is chasing down this lead pair as they battle on.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, as you mentioned at the start of this was fairly action-packed. There's a few odd incidents, and yeah, made for some interesting racing, and yeah, we've got a mixed field.
Just jumping down right now, Stevie Dub is making the move on Josh Micklemore. He's down on the inside as they go along the straight. Oh, Micklemore makes contact with the wall, and that's going to allow Matty Raymond through. Lucky not to have a big incident there. Matty Raymond is he's got all 9 lives tonight, and he's used up about 3 of them, I think.
Yeah, certainly has. Yeah, no, good move from Stephen Williams there, the old head Steve-O. I guess the job done, but yeah, a little bit of. Oh, there we go. Get a couple more stripes down the side. So, as I say, if you don't get the Darlington stripe, you haven't been driving hard enough. So, these boys certainly are driving hard. Then Josh got one down the front straight, which was a bit of an odd one, but can distract you with the car inside. And obviously, yeah, just grab the wall a bit there.
Yeah, look, we were saying, you know, this is a hard track to run on, and we're running on lap 72 now. Sorry, we've got 72 laps remaining. Sorry, I was set lap 63. There we go. I was just doing my maths there, and I'm like, wait, that's wrong for a second. We've done 64 laps now. Quite a lot of laps in this race, and long green stint now, actually, which will be taking its toll on those drivers out there. It does take a bit of a mental toll on you as you get long green flag with stints here, but you do get into a rhythm, and that's the important thing, getting that rhythm working. Yeah,
absolutely. Especially at this track, you just need to get yourself in the rhythm. As Ryan Jones is coming back through the field after taking that early tyre stop, as we remember, he came in, so he's working his way back through. But yeah, you've got to get yourself in the rhythm because it's not flat. You don't just hold a flat like you do at Daytona and Talladega. Here, basically, you probably around the corners you'd be using 50% throttle and then only slowly increasing off the turns as well. So. You need to get yourself in the rhythm and just make sure you're nailing that every time, otherwise you'll end up in the wall, as we've seen many do.
Yeah, Ryan Jones, he had a very long pit stop. I'm wondering if he had some kind of technical or mechanical issue there. He's actually 3 laps down, so unfortunately for him, he was in the pit lane for about a minute and a half, I think it was, so he lost quite a lot of time in pit road, so not sure what happened to him there, so that's unfortunate for him.
He's going to be kicking himself. He was in a great position. He had car speed. He was moving forward. He just made a pass up in the 4th before he stopped. So that's a real shame for Ryan. He's going to be dirty on himself about that.
Yeah, and
it's hard to get into this pit bay, especially on the green flags, because you don't realise how far in on the apron the pit lane is. So you keep turning, and you realise, oh, hang on, I've got too much speed still. But that time it's too late. You got to go around again. Sometimes I've done it before. A lot of people have. So yeah, hard one to get into on the green flag conditions.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're probably going to be seeing some green flag stops actually starting relatively soon, I'd say. I imagine they're starting to scream out for tyre life out there, and those wheels on those cars won't be feeling as good as they were earlier on in this race, so we'll see.
Skurlock having a big strop down there, so he's as Denny G actually comes in, as you were saying, but yeah, Skurlock into the turn 3 wall there, giving it a hard lick. Get the Denny G and Ryan Jones behind him has come in as well, so he must be just coming in for fun, I guess. I'm not sure, but Denny G first to blink of our lead car, so he was 6th position when he came in to the pits there.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting to see how it goes for those guys. This could be a good move for Danny G if he can, if he's the only one that pits, and we don't see any others. As I think we've got Luke Traher. Luke Traher trying to come in. He's missed the pit lane, as you said. Luke Traher, will he make it? Will he make it? No, he's not made it. He's absolutely stuffed that one. Luke Traher just missing the pit lane. Hamish Gallagher getting into pit lane now, as well as James Robbie. So Luke is going to cost himself some serious time.
Going to move on the 350 for the lead of the race here. Takes the lead of the race down in turn 4. Skurlock's just letting go by. He's going to come into pit lane, see if he can get it pulled up. As I said, it's very hard to get it pulled. You've got to follow that line in, and he's going to get it in. He's got a lot of speed there. He's got to get it back down. He might be right there, but yeah, one of the hardest places to get a green flag stop is this place here.
Yeah, it's not easy at all. Pearson has got Aiden Schultz just behind him at the moment. I think Aiden's on a lot fresher tyres, in all honesty. So I'm wondering if Pearson might be looking to try and eke out some time here. He's done 50 laps now on this set, so this stint. So he's been out there for quite some time.
Oh, jeez, he just sent it in there. Tell you what, Pearson's not happy about that. He must have saw that. He saw that in the mirror. He come from a mile back. He was on a mission there to wreck the 9, I thought. But yeah, everybody's hair raised up in this commentary booth, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's it, and that's the difference of fresh tyres and old tyres right there. Even though Schultz's car was, it's got a lot of damage on it, he is on fresh tyres, and he's just trying to unlap himself there, but Pearson did not want that to happen. You know, that is one of the big things you have in oval racing, of course, is you have people wanting to unlap themselves and get back on the lead lap as Pearson comes in. This is going to be
he's down on the apron on the back straight. He just got sideways at a turn 2 and gathered it back up, but there was a little battle pack there, and he's got a few guys behind him now, and Andrew Dyson's was in front of him as well, so a little bit of a pack there, but yeah, it's all starting to happen here. As I said, got a few mixed tyre sets here, but yeah, that was too close for comfort for Pearson. As you see him come straight back down the lane the next lap by. So and he did get on the radio, so he made sure everyone was aware.
Yeah, that's it. Matty Raymond coming into pit lane now, sliding into pit lane. So he's managed to get it in. Stevie Williams, the truck champion for season 1, is still out there though. He's doing a good job at the moment. People this is going to work out well for. I'd probably say it's going to work out quite well for Luke Traher. See how that goes for him. James Robbie as well. James Robbie, it could work out very well for him from his pit stop. We'll see how it all shakes out when everybody's back out on track and everything starts to settle down a little bit.
Yeah, it's plenty of action. There's the 041, I should say, heads to pit lane of Andrew Dyson.
Yeah, we've got JCW out there as well. He's got some slightly fresher tyres, slightly fresher tyres, I think, than the rest. He stopped about 46 laps ago, so he'll be coming in very shortly. But he's going to try and hang it out there for a little bit longer, just in case we do get a caution. So he's playing a bit of a different game, just rolling the dice a little bit, seeing how it all pays off, because the caution comes out now. It is going to change things up for this race, and for those that have already stopped, it could be a big difference maker. The ones that are looking good at the moment are Pearson and Skurlock. Pearson actually managed to get out on the lead lap there, so he's on those fresh tyres and he's effectively got the race lead at the moment.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait for him to cross the line there for it to update a mile, but showing Stephen Williams in the corrected order, I think, yeah, Pearson is your race leader at the moment.
Yeah, well, pit stops included, that is, because we've got Greg Spence, Joshua Carroll, and Stephen Williams out there. Stephen Williams done 55 laps on this stint so far, so he's kept it out there for a nice long time. But he's trying his best to keep it out there, just hoping for a caution to come out at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. If one does, and there's always that chance here. And,
as Stephen Williams makes a big hit into the wall, just as we put the curse of the commentator on him.
You don't want to be the caution. If you're waiting for a caution, you don't want to be the caution, though.
No, that is it. It's you want a caution, but you don't want it that much. So that's generally the case there. But that was a big moment, and obviously those tyres are starting to fall off for him. Just struggling through the exits of the corners right now. As you can see, James Robbie just going down the inside of him, and who's that behind him? I think that's Riley Curtis in the 93, just behind him as well, just trying to get some laps back.
Yeah, he's running late, 8 laps down after being caught up in that incident earlier on in the night. But Steve Williams, he's still going out here to our front. Oh, we got cars all over the place down the back straight. We got Paul Jackson, I think it is. No, Barry Neal. No, it was Paul Jackson and Andrew Dyson. Had a bit of a moment coming off turn 1 there, but we sorted each other out. There was 3 cars sort of all over the place. As we see, Dyson's on the radio talking about 2 wide off turn 2 there. So there must have been a similar incident earlier on, but they gathered up and all still pulled in the right direction.
Yeah, big moments out there, and you've got cars on very different tyres.
It is Ryan Jones. He was wrecking down the front back straight. He's hard down there, but gathered up. We stay green. It's still not coming out for Stephen Williams. They're trying hard for him. It's the green flag still waves.
Yeah, it's so very close for that caution to come out, and it's just being a little bit shy at the moment and just not wanting to show itself here tonight at Darlington, as it showed itself so many times earlier on in this race. Right now, it's wanting to just stick out there as Michael Skurlock's got past Neil Pearson somewhere along the line. Yeah,
it looked like Pearson had a bit of an issue. He was going very slowly for a car that just came in a pit before, so I'm not sure if he's had an issue at all, but I did see one of his teammates go past him. I thought it was a bit odd seeing that, considering he was effectively the race leader.
Yeah, I'm just going back and actually having a bit of a look at it right now. It just looks like he lost speed, so he just lost a lot of speed somewhere along the line. And maybe in turns 1 and 2, I think he might have made a bit of a mistake, and that's where he lost it. So I think he's had a big moment and lost the rear through the corner. He's had to come off the accelerator, almost made contact with his teammate and got back into it. And I think he was expecting Ryan Jones to come back on track, so he basically just lifted off just to keep away from that caution. That gave Skurlock the opportunity to get up and past him, and Skurlock is currently the man on the mission. And he gets past JW.
Yeah, he's got a very big lead, so just wondering if jumped on board for the minute there to see if Pearson's trying to save fuel or something silly like that towards the end of this race, whether he's sort of close on fuel and he can get home, but doesn't sound like in the engine note that he's actually saving it, or he's not rolling off. He's sort of driving it still hard into turn 1, so as you're right on board now, you can see he's using all that revs. He's up on that high line. Just got out of it because he was too high, but straight back into the gas, so he's definitely not saving what looks. So just lost a bit of speed there. Yeah,
from what I can work out, he can make it home from here without too much issue maybe. Stephen Williams is out there. He's done 62 laps on this stint. Stephen Williams still leading the race, so he's been out there for 62 laps at the moment, and 63 laps this time round. So with those stops, those guys should be able to make it home without too much difficulty on fuel. It's just whether they can keep the tyres on the car and stop them from disintegrating and falling off the rims.
Yeah, definitely. So you can see Michael Scott, he's only 11 seconds, I think, off the leader now. So he's fought all the way back almost to the back of Stephen Williams there. So if the caution's going to come, Stephen Williams really needs it probably in the next 5 to 10 laps, I'd imagine.
Yeah, James Robbie's just getting past Neil Pearson right there as well. So Pearson is dropping back. He seems to be struggling out there. The only thing we can think of is he's maybe saving fuel, but it doesn't sound like it in all honesty. He just seems to be struggling at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Whether he's just lost confidence or he doesn't have confidence in his tyre set, even though they're all the same. But yeah, Barry Neal's looking up on the outside of him there as well to just get past. I don't think he's in position, but he's just looking to get past him. But yeah, definitely no speed in that number 9 DPR Chevrolet at the moment.
Yeah, and he could have just made a slight error up into the wall and had a little bit of a whack where it didn't need to be whacked, and that might have been the difference maker there. But definitely something has happened and it's causing an issue. Greg Spencer in the pit lane at the moment, so he's coming in for his second stop. He's done 56 laps on that stint, so still got Stephen Williams out there. Stephen Dubb's still out there, still circulating, still in the lead of this race. Although I think he'll probably be coming in relatively shortly. I didn't get any fuel numbers tonight, but he's been out there for 66 laps now, so he is pulling a marathon stint at the moment.
As Pearson just whacked the wall off turn 2 again, so he's just dropped another 2. Well, not dropped, but he's actually bringing it into pit. He's coming into pit lane.
Yeah, he definitely struggling out there, so something not working right for Pearson. He's just bringing it into pit lane to get something so he can get it working, I imagine. But he's going to lose a lot of positions from that. Yeah,
very strange one there, so be interesting to see what went on there. But anyway, we carry on, and the race is up front.
Yeah, race up front, we see Steve Williams getting passed by his teammate of Andrew Dyson, I think it was. So Andrew Dyson, they're just getting past Stephen Williams on those fresher tyres, and Michael Scullock's slowly catching up. He's 4 seconds behind now, so yep. He's coming along. The Scurley train is working its way up the pack at the moment, and it is closing on Stephen Williams. So we've got 47 laps remaining in this race. So
jeez, he had a big moment off turn 4 there, yeah. The 98. Had the tail wagging out of turn 4.
Huge lift there. Huge lift there, yeah, to get that car corrected. I was sort of just listening as well and just heard massive lift off there. Good save.
Yeah, definitely. I just caught it out of the back of my eye. I saw that back end of it and I thought, oh, that's a big tank slapper. So, yeah, he's still pushing this late in the race. As he gets another strop on the outside there, he's just... I wonder when he's going to pull the trigger to stop all. I don't know if he can get home or not, but if he can get home, he might be able to just keep cruising around here and not drop too far back, and still wait for that caution.
I've got to say, it's probably a big ask to get home. We've got 45 laps remaining. He's done 70 laps on this stint, so I don't think that's... Well, we've been surprised in the past. I mean, we have been surprised in the past. But what this is going to do for Stephen Williams is he's going to be able to come in a lot later than these guys. If they do have to make one more stop, which I don't think anyone will do, but he's going to be on some nice fresh tyres towards the end here. So he might be able to work his way back up the field as these guys start struggling. But he's going into the wall one more time. Just takes another bite out of that wall as we've got a big battle going on between Danny G, Hamish Gallagher, Joshua Carroll-Walden as well, trying to catch up there. James Robbie's checked out a little bit. I did say watch out for James. He's worked his way. Robbie has worked his way up to 3rd position at the moment. He's managed to get ahead of Danny G and Hamish Gallagher.
Yeah, the demon on dirt, James Robbie, having a good run tonight. As I said, it's great to see him back. He's got Barry Neal in front of him by the looks of it, having a bit of an issue hitting the wall up front. It definitely was the 22 Barry Neal, but yeah, good to see the green Pace Syndicate car back on the grid tonight.
The green machine is back out there, is doing a great job, but up at the front, Stephen Williams has got a very different machine behind him, and that is Michael Skurlock. He is right on the tail of Stephen Williams right now, and he is going to try and make this move. He's going to try and go down on the inside here, down the start, finish straight. Will he be able to get the car under him and get it through the corner? It looks like he will. Skurlock's going to take the position and get into 1st place.
Yep, so it's relatively fairly easy given the different tyre strategies those guys are on. So Skurlock has pulled down a heap of time and just reeled him in. And as I said, it's all in the tyres at the moment.
Yeah, that's it. And sometimes, of course, with tyre drop-off, you sort of get to a stage where they drop off and it becomes really, really hard to drive. And then all of a sudden, they sort of come back to you a little bit. So sometimes that can be a bit of a case, and they sort of plateau and go through little stages as well. So Stephen Williams might just be hoping that they're going through a little bit of a stage at the moment and that he can keep going a little bit longer. Of course, if a caution comes out now, it's going to be good for a lot of those drivers. Some of them it might not be good for if they've hit their tyre allocations.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, as you go through the run, you can still be trying to drive it like it's got good tyres on it, but then you find a bit of rhythm on the older tyres, and you can actually find a little bit of speed if you sort of just run at that pace. If you try to work them too hard, you'll actually run slower if you try too hard. So yeah, you've got to sort of nurse them, and you'll actually find a little bit of extra pace than if you were running them a bit too hard.
If you treat them nicely, sometimes they return the favour a little bit. As we see right now, Danny G's got his teammate all over the back of him with Hamish Gallagher. The 24 and 13 are battling on at the moment as cars on different strategies get past them. So you can see Justin Witcher there going down the inside of Hamish Gallagher right now on those fresher tyres and just able to make that car stick a little bit easier on that inside line. It's going to drift up. The number 10 is going to drift up a little bit. It's all behind him, I think. Who was that just behind him? The blue car there. Somebody just had a big moment, but managed to keep it going. Might have been
JCW possibly back there, but as he comes in the pit lane, so he's going to come in and make his last stop. I wonder if these other guys will stop, but if they have to, Stephen Williams has done a great job to run as long as he has on those tyres, and you see in the replay there, JCW locking them up, trying to get it down in the pit lane, and gets the swung back the other way. Lucky not to bring out a cushion there, but goes it up and heads to the lane.
Yeah, that could have really hurt him there, because if pit lane closed as well, that would have been quite painful for JCW, but he's managed to get it in, get it stopped. But we've seen grip is not nice out there tonight. It is very tricky as Stephen Williams has come in. Stephen Williams is coming in right now, so Stevie Dubb is making his pit stop. He's going to be on nice fresh tyres now, so if the rest of the field has to stop,
that's a massive undercut he'll get.
Yeah, he could really work his way up there, so it's going to be interesting from here. So how's everybody going to go from here? That's the question. Is we've got 37 laps remaining. Currently, Michael Skerlock's done 29 laps on this stint, so we'll see how this one works out.
It's going to be very interesting. So yeah, if they do come in, and I hope they do, because it's going to make a good race towards the end here. And Stevie's done a marvellous middle stint in this race.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic stint there. 77 laps.
Rolling down pit lane, he's out there. He's rolling back. They've done an engine swap in this thing. They've got it repaired, and the 53 returns to the racetrack, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, he's got 36 laps, and he's got a few cars that have retired. So currently, Aidan Schultz might be out of the race. Lachlan Accio, Christopher Finley's out of the race. So Foster might be able to make up at least 2 or 3 positions at the end of this race if he can get there to the end.
Yeah, and another big thing.
Sorry, Dave.
Yeah, another big thing with that is they run incidents per laps now as well. So that's how they work out your incident level. So he's out there now. If he can just run, what do we got? 35. He runs 35 clean laps. That's another 35 laps to level out that average of a bad night, basically.
Yeah, that's it. And it also adds a couple of extra points onto the championship as well, which it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to help out too much, but a few extra points are better than no points.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you've got to be careful, as I said, with these incident points. So they work it out. It's however many incidents per laps you've run. So over the season, so it's averaged over the season. And so, yeah, as I said, that will just help with, he'll have probably incidents tonight. I reckon he's up to about 8x, I reckon. And if he just runs those 35 laps, it'll just help that number.
Yeah, just help clear it up a little bit, make things a little bit easier. Just looking through the field at the moment, Skerlock has a 9-second lead over James Robbie, and James Robbie is around about 6 seconds ahead of Hamish Gallagher at the moment, so they spread out a little bit at the front. Danny G has got a fast-charging Matty Raymond on the back of him now, so Matty Raymond's trying to chase him down, and he has Luke Traher right on the back of him as well, so got a good little battle going on between Matty Raymond, Luke Traher, and Andrew Dyson as well. He's trying to catch up to that as well, and he's got Josh Whitmore right on his tail. So there are a few cars out there that are trying to get a few better positions, and they could well do it towards the end of this race.
Yep, so we got Stevie Dub making his way back to the field on those fresher tyres as well, trying to make up a bit of ground here towards the end of this race and see what he can come up with. As you can see him up on the high line there, he's got Norman Clark in front of him, Traher, Matty Raymond, those cars we mentioned before, so he's flying down the inside there now, so he's making hay while the sun shines.
Yeah, all of those laps of punishment that he had to suffer on those old tyres.
Yeah, easy it is too.
He's going to try and make this work as he's trying to get up past Parianasakis right now for position. So this is battles for position as well as getting back on the lead lap. So going to see Stevie Dubs just go up on the high line right there. He's going to try and keep it up on the outside. Going to go high. He's up past Anastakis there. Nice job from Stevie Dub. As just behind him. Matty Raymond just getting big tank slapper there.
It's good to see Traher, actually. I was going to mention him earlier before he missed the pit lane. I'm glad I didn't before he missed the pit lane, but the 43 having a good run tonight. He hasn't had too much luck this season. He's a good driver and deserves probably some better results, but good to see him. He's rolling, where is he, top 5? Yeah, so fourth position at the moment. So, good job to Luke in Cranky Sports car there, having a good little run in.
Now this is interesting. James Robbie has come in from second place, I think it was. Second place. He's come into pit lane, strapped on some fresh tyres. So we might be seeing some more stops here tonight. Who is going to be trying to keep it out there and doing a Stevie Dub type run? Will everybody try it, or will this pay off for people like Stephen Williams and James Robbie? So it could work out well for them if they get a few clean laps in here.
Yeah, I think right now if it stays green and those guys do have to pit, Stephen Williams is in the best possible position because he was behind Skurlock, so he led that most of that stint, so he was in second when he did make that stop. And he'll be making a lot of time on these guys now on those fresh tyres and not too many laps to go.
No, we've got 28 laps remaining, so there's still time in this race, still a lot of time to go. It's all few cars.
He's having a nice wheel down the back there. He got up in the fence. He had a big old wheels as they now Dyson does a look down the inside in the 041 and tries to make a move on Matty Raymond. It's side by side. You can see the Cranky Sports car behind him having a move as well. I think that's Traher must be back there.
Yeah, that's got to be Traher right there as well. So, or is it? No, actually, it's Mirko.
Mirko's still out there, just taking some points away from these guys that have already pulled out.
Yeah, so similar sort of strategy in Mirko, just keeping it out there, keeping it clean at the moment. He's only 3 laps down though, so he's currently battling it out with Justin Richer on that lap. Meanwhile, we've got Adam Rosell falling into the clutches of Stephen Williams. So Stephen Williams is working his way up. He's back up into 10th at the moment, so he's going to want to try and get his way back up into the top 10. Another car that we saw coming into pit lane was Neil Pearson, of course. We saw him come in a little bit earlier than some of the cars around him, so he made that sort of second stop a little bit earlier as well. But he... So he's on some tyres that he should be able to make it to the end. So it could actually be working out well for Neil Pearson as well. So if the guys in front of him have to make a stop, this could be very interesting.
Yeah, you're right. So he did make that real early stop when we thought he had issues. So he might have just thought he had to get off that set and come down and get some new tyres. So he's a big player in this one too. If these guys do have to stop up front. Yeah,
he's got about a 8-second gap to Stephen Williams at the moment. So Stephen Williams is catching him, but it's going to be interesting here. If we do see everybody needing to make a pit stop, a few people could work their way up, and we could see a few people trying out some different strategies here tonight and actually pulling a blinder.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just keeping my eye on Skurlock just to see if he makes any movement towards that pit lane at all, but at this stage he's just doing what he's got to do at the moment to keep the tyres on the car.
Yeah, just keeping that car going, which is important, of course, and it's all perilous out there. It is so easy to do. Adam Rosell now being caught by Stephen Williams just a little bit further back, as we see Mirko trying to go underneath Danny G there as well. Luke Traher getting passed by Danny G. So that was position, sorry. So Luke Traher getting passed by Danny G there, so... Sorry about that, was watching on the wrong screen, but Danny G is coming into pit lane.
So we got another taker, so the 350 continues to go out there, and Hamish as well, but the 24 has decided to come down pit lane and get some fresh tyres.
Yeah, get some fresh boots on that car and get it to the very end. That's going to drop him down a few positions, but as I say, that undercut is quite powerful here.
Yeah, definitely, especially on those old tyres and how slippery it is. You'll make some good gain up on those new boots, basically.
Yeah, we'll see very shortly how the difference between fresh rubber and old rubber. As I was just looking a little bit further back, we've got Luke Traher being passed by James Robbie at the moment. He's working his way back onto that lead lap as they go through. Currently, Danny G is in the pit lane, so that's Neil Pearson is the first car down a lap at the moment, and he's being chased down by Stephen Williams. So Stephen Williams is slowly catching Neil Pearson. He will catch him, but it's going to take a few laps to get there. It's just going to be if there's any takers in the next 20 laps to the pit lane.
Yeah, so Stephen Williams have fresher tyres than Pearson at the moment, so he should slowly make...
Oh, Skurlock into the wall.
Yeah.
Big hit for Skurlock there. Up into the barrier. That was a big punch up into the wall. That is a big stripe from Darlington there. More Darlington paint job than a stripe, I think. So that's just how much they're struggling up the front at the moment and just struggling for front end grip.
Absolutely, and you see the car behind him is the 93 Riley Curtis, and he did exactly the same thing, so it's very much follow the leader. One car goes that fast and he's at the wall, you sort of just follow him in there and just get involved in the same sort of incident without being in it. But yeah, it's easy to do.
Yeah, that last time round, Stephen Williams set a 30.74, Neil Pearson a 31.4, and Michael Skurlock a 31.5. So the top 7 at the moment are on similar pace, but Stephen Williams has definitely got the best pace out there at the moment. He's about half a second faster than everybody else to a second at the moment.
Skurlock. No, it was just a call. I think you said Edward. I just thought he might have been calling pit lane there, but he wasn't. But yeah, you want to compare times, you'll have to see Danny G's because he's on them fresher tyres of all of them, so he's about to fly up behind the 350 here to try and unlap himself, but he's going to have the fresh tyres of also 31.8 for Skurlock last time by versus a 29.9 for Danny G on them fresh tyres, so almost a 2-second difference there.
Yeah, you just see right now Skurlock getting passed by Danny G, flying past that car. Danny G is just absolutely flying past, but he is 2 laps down, Danny G, so he is a bit further down, so he's got to make another lap back on Skurlock to get on the lead lap to start fighting him at least, so he's quite a way down, unfortunately.
Yeah, so if you're Skurlock at this point in time, you've pretty much put yourself in this position. You've just got to commit to it now, and so if he's got the fuel, there's no point stopping now. There's not enough laps to come in and work your way back out, so he just needs to run to the flag now, and hopefully there's no issues or no cautions, basically.
Yeah, he's just got to hope for the best. Right now, though, there is the battle for the lead lap and 7th and 8th place at the moment. You've got Neil Pearson with Stephen Williams right behind him. The 2 DPR cars are very close together, and we're going to see Stephen Williams go down the inside. He's going to try this time around. Going to make it? Yes, he is. Down the inside, straight past Neil Pearson. Stephen Williams is going to go on the chase. Will he stop it in time? He does. Very close to the barrier there. Just gets that little bit of an air buffer just to keep him off that barrier a little bit, and makes it through the corner.
Keeping an eye on the 350 at the moment. He's got a lot of lap traffic around. He's got 3 cars and a lap down behind him. He's got passed by 35. He's got a lot of lap cars in front of him, so it's not ideal circumstances at the moment. But he's very crowded at the moment.
He is, and just behind those lapped cars is Stephen Williams. So he is 3 cars behind the leader and getting back on the lead lap, importantly. So he's going to want to try and get that lead lap there. Foster, I think that was just going down on the apron there to allow the 2 cars past.
Traffic everywhere for the 350, so he just split a couple of cars down the back straight. So, as I said, not ideal. There's a bit going on at tense times at this point of the race for the leader.
Yeah, this is where a big mistake could easily happen. We've got 14 laps remaining, so it's not far from the end right now. But when you are battling, we're battling your way through lapped cars who are battling each other on different tyre strategies, on different laps, it does get very confusing very fast, and it can get very tricky. You can see Stephen Williams just a little bit further back. He's getting past those lapped cars now. He's going to try and make his way down the inside. He's just got past Scott Griffiths there as he gets. Oh, Griffiths almost gets into the back of him. He just manages to pull up in time, but that was nearly a big crunch into the back of Stephen Williams. He's trying to chase down Josh Micklemore ahead of him, who's got about a 8-second lead at the moment over Stephen Williams. But most importantly, Stephen Williams wants to be on that lead lap just in case the caution flag does fly.
Yeah, definitely, and he'll have the fresher tyres because I doubt that point of the race if anyone will pit, but unless they all pit. But yeah, right now the 350, all he can do is just keep circulating and eyes forward, basically.
Yeah, keeping the eyes on the prize at the moment. Skurlock is very seasoned, and he's seasoned in the way of skill and talent and years on track. Won't say age. That'll be nice to Scully tonight. But yeah, a lot of experience on Skurlock's belt out there. He's done 54 laps so far, so 55 laps this time round on these tyres. So it's got a little bit of time as they just go, so close to Norman Clark there.
Get nice and tight down the inside there. Norman Clark as 98 Steve Williams makes that move in the outside on the pressure tyres, and Pearson next in line to do it. He just backs out of it for now, and there goes his 350 down the inside of the 09.
Yeah, they make that pass and get through. Now it's Stephen Williams' chance to chase down Josh Micklemore. He's going to want to try and do that as Neil Pearson gets past Skurlock as well. So importantly, he's on the lead lap 2. So a few cars on the lead lap again now. And just looking through the field a little bit, we've got Hamish Gallagher in second place. He's a little bit lonely out at the moment, and as he just touches the wall, of course.
Up the side of the wall.
As soon as you start mentioning somebody, just behind him is, I won't say the name, Luke Trahir just behind him in third position with Andrew Dyson in fourth. So Andrew Dyson making a good recovery after an earlier incident. Matty Raymond is right on the back of Andrew Dyson at the moment, so those two are battling it out for position for fourth and fifth. And Josh Micklemore is in sixth with a fast-charging Stephen Williams behind him.
Yeah, so good run tonight for Trahir and Matty Raymond. Good to see those guys up there, and they're probably the closest battle on track at this point in time, I think. Just for up in towards the front of the race anyway. But yeah, good to see those guys. Matty Raymond's had a few incidents tonight where he sort of counted himself lucky, got away with a couple there. So it's always helps you get through these races. So good to see.
Yeah, he got very lucky in that big accident earlier on, just missing Foster's car, and that was a really lucky moment for him. And that sort of I think that says the races. Sometimes it's sometimes it's nice to have a bit of luck on your side.
Yeah, you certainly need it, especially around this place.
Yeah, Darlington, when she bites hard. It's a very tricky track. We've said it a few times tonight, but it is a track that will catch you out very quickly, and it is very easy to make a mistake here and make things go bad. Jason Martin on the screen right now, just getting past Ruben Phelps for position. So Jason Martin recovering from that early incident where he got caught up after the spin of JCW on that restart. Few cars getting caught out and that with penalties, unfortunately. So he's managed to get past Ruben Phelps and is working his way up the field. He's managed to get back up into 15th position. So good recovery drive from Jason Martin. Another driver that is quite good around this track and has a lot of experience around these circuits. So tricky night for him, and it's been a tricky year, you've got to say, for Martin as well. He's not had the best of luck, but he's managed to work his way up there and do a good job.
Yeah, certainly. As the leader just crosses the line, so we've got about 5 laps to run here. 6 to go to be exact, so next time by we'll have 5 to go. And we'll just start working to the championship rounds here, so we're winding down. Skurlock's done a good job out front to staying clean, touch wood.
Yeah, putting the cursor commentator on now, so nice. Nice one, Dave.
Last week in here, I better do something, so do your best, really.
it's your last opportunity to use that power. So you've got to use it while you can. It's a great power that we have up in the commentary booth, of course. But yeah, no, doing a good job out there at the moment, just keeping the car steady and not pushing too hard. James Robbie's worked his way back up into 9th position and on the lead lap as well. So a good result for James Robbie as well. Good run there as well from that little bit later pit stop. And he's currently just chasing down Neil Pearson. So he should be catching him very shortly. So they're going to be fighting it out on the track in a couple of moments. I'd say in the next corner possibly we're going to see James Robbie getting past Neil Pearson.
Yeah, definitely. He's going to get a bit held up behind the 35 and gets a bit loose off the turn there. So they're both going to try and get down the inside of the 35 here. Hopefully he doesn't hold James up too much here. And he does. Gets down there and gets involved. So it's a bit of annoyance for the 41. But well within JCW's rights.
Yeah, he's fighting for track position, of course, and that's the thing on ovals is you're always fighting for track position, and that's given Neil Pearson a little bit of breathing room right there. But James Robbie is on those nice fresher tyres, so he should start catching up pretty quickly, I'd say. So you'll see him just be able to use the adhesion of those tyres quite quickly as we've got 3 laps remaining. So it's getting very close to the end here.
It definitely is. The 41 now ranges up on the back of the 9. He should try and make the other move down here. Just backs out of it. He's still got 3 laps to go. He's definitely got the pace over him. So he'd probably want to do it before he gets to that other lap car so he doesn't have the same thing happen. So here we go. He's going to get a good run off turn 2. He's going to get past up this time, boy.
Yeah, as they go 3 wide down the straight there, and James Robbie does indeed get through there. A little bit further up the field, Josh Micklemore has lost position to Stephen Williams, who's worked his way up into 6th position.
Yeah, so Stephen still on that charge, so hasn't worked out too badly. Who's his next guy? He's another, what is that, for 6 seconds, I think, ahead of Stephen, so I don't think he's going to have enough time to get to that guy, but yeah, not a bad result for top 6.
Not bad at all, as the white flag is out for Michael Skurlock. He's only got half a lap to go. You can see him just letting Foster pass there, actually helping Foster out a little bit to get an actual extra position in the race. So Foster's going to make it up to 25th position at the end of that one. So Skurlock's just got to make it around this final corner for the final time tonight in a very tricky race. Michael Skurlock takes the victory. 6 positions gained for the race. Behind him, Hamish Gallagher, also gaining 6 positions, is going to take out P2. Luke Trahair does a great finish to take out the 3rd position for a crank 1-3. Andrew Dyson, a nice finish for him. Pole position, ended up in 4th position with Maddie Raymond, the biggest gainer of the night. 20 positions gained for Maddie Raymond, up there in 5th position. Another top 5 finish for Maddie Raymond. Great result for him. Stephen Williams finishes in 6th position with James Robbie in 7th. Josh Micklemore in 8th, Neil Pearson in 9th, and Danny G makes it into the top 10 in 10th position.
Yeah, good top 10 there. The 350, Michael Skurlock for Crank Esports, back in the winner's circle. I think he won 2 in a row, then Barry Neal got involved, then he's worked his way back to the point. So interesting enough, though, Micklemore's leading the championship, but Skurlock's doing all the winning, so it's more of a consistency championship at the moment.
Well, that's it, and we know that Josh Micklemore can be incredibly consistent when he needs to be. I always think back to last year and Micklemore's just ridiculous run of 0 incident points he had at the beginning of the season. I think it was like about 6 or 7 races without, no, it was more like about 10 races without any incident points for Josh Micklemore. So he's just working his way up there and just keeping that car nice and settled. But Skurlock absolutely doing some deserved victory burnout.
Yeah, burning it down out there in the Camry. We're going to get some Rahikis up on the wall there, so impress the crowd, get the checkered flag. Well deserved for the night, taming the wild Darlington. Yeah,
and what a wild Darlington it's been as the engine finally goes pop.
The boss won't be too happy about
that. Chris is going to have to pay for another engine. Oh, it gets expensive. Great finish there for the race. And we, as I said, a bit of a tough start to the race, but ended up having a lot of green flag laps towards the end. What I think was three cautions by my count. I could be wrong there. But yeah, tricky start to the race, but a long green flag period there at the end is what we love to see. And we saw some good recovery drives and some good races as well. So let's run through the rest of the finishing order. So, as you said, Denny G finished in 10th place. So, from 11th place, we had Adam Rosell. Joshua Carroll-Walton finished 12th. 13th was Parry Anastakis with Scott Griffith in 14th. 15th was Jason Martin with Ruben Phelps in 16th. 17th was Greg Spencer with Paul Jackson in 18th. 19th was Justin Witcher. Mirko Dornak finished in 20th. 21st was Barry Neal with Riley Kurz. 22nd, Norman Clark. 23rd. 24th, Ryan Jones. 25th, Edward Foster. Aidan Schultz, 26th. 27th, Lachlan Akrio. Christopher Finley, 28th. 29th was Phil Otto and Dwayne Price in 30th position. And, of course, Michael Skurlock taking out the victory with Hamish Gallagher and Luke Trahere. That's your top three tonight from Darlington on FGM eCars for the ANZCAR Cup. So we'll just wait for the drivers to start congregating into their rooms and start positioning themselves so that we can grab them down and have a bit of a chat to them, as we often like to do. So we'll try and get them in relatively short order. So we'll start off with the third place man, Mr. Luke Trahere. Luke Trahere, congratulations on that top three finish, and welcome back to the booth.
Yeah, thanks, Carl. Crazy to pull that out. I was saying to the guys before the start of the race, because I got into practice late, I was caught up with a couple of things, and the Skirly said to me, he's like, mate, you better put some laps in, it's loose. And I'm like, should be right. And I could not, every single wall, like on every single turn for about 8 laps, kept hitting it. And I actually said I might not race because I don't want to screw anyone up. And I just sort of started picking it up, towards the end. I thought, stuff it. I'll say, I'll just keep it clean. And it worked out in the end. So, I would have been happy to finish the race. I didn't get a top 3.
Well, you did a good job. You made up 14 positions in the end as well. So obviously it started clicking towards the end there, but we saw a lot of drivers struggling out there tonight. It definitely looks like grip was definitely missing for you.
Oh, 100%. And it just sort of falls off so quick. And, part of the trick is, any of the guys will tell you, is you just got to be waiting and ready for it. You could probably not count the amount of times that I touched the wall, and probably a lot of the other guys too, because it's just, you're feeling good 1 second, all of a sudden you just come in that little bit too hot and you're not adjusting your brake point and you're straight into that wall. So, I'm happy I only sort of touched it up a little bit. Almost stuffed myself coming to the pits and overshot the pit box when I wanted to come in and had to keep going. So, to get the P3 after all that stuff is, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, we did notice that one. Unfortunately, we caught that one on the stream. Sorry about that one.
Yeah. The cone just came out at me. I was like, oh, shit. Like, better keep going. And, I think it caught a couple of people out. So
cones, they're the worst. They always attack at the worst possible time. Now, congratulations on that top 3 finish. Another top 3 in the Cup Series for you. You've been having a great year so far, and it's good to see you back up here in the booth, of course, Luke. And as usual shout-outs and things like that.
Yeah, of course. The first shout out to my man Skirly. I honestly didn't really care where I came tonight. I was just so happy for him to get the win that he needed to tonight. With everything that means and what comes with it. So we're just so wrapped. And the next one definitely goes to our newer teammate Schultze, because he bombed out a little bit early, but he is doing such a damn good job with guiding Skirly home and just keeping him calm and in his ear and telling him where he sort of is on the track. So, we'd rather him be racing than on the track, but he was so instrumental in looking after us at that last part of the race. So, and just obviously finally, just to support his virtual motorsport mentor as always. Obviously the team, Crank Esports, and all the guys who run with Mirko, loving having him on board. Obviously he's raced with the other guys before as well, but I'm a big fan of racing with him too. And I race designs for our paints, keeping us looking fresh every week. And you guys, of course, at FDM.
Oh, you're always welcome. Obviously, you didn't do your paint job too much favours on the front tonight. They're going to have a hard job to buff all of that out for you. But great top 3 finish for you, and congratulations again. Next up, we will jump to Mitch Motorsport, to Hamish Gallagher. Welcome back to the booth, Hamish. It's been a little bit of time since I last spoke to you, but glad to have you back up in the booth for a P2 finish here at a very, very tricky Darlington.
I don't think I'd ever get to talk to you again, Carl. It's been one of those years, but of all tracks I thought I'd get a podium, this was definitely not it. I had zero confidence coming into this race tonight. This thing was out of control. But,
as is often the case, when you think you're going to do terribly, you often do well. It's sometimes the way. It's good to have you back in the booth. As we said, it's been a bit of a dry spell for you.
yeah, no, I think I've had good speed this year. Just things haven't quite gone my way, but that's just how it is, you know. Complete opposite of Skirley. Everything he touches turns to gold. But it was obviously a pretty weird race. Like I couldn't string more than 10 laps together in practice, so I was just like, oh, we'll just see how it goes. But obviously, it was a bit of a weird one. We had a few odd restarts, but I just once I got into a few more laps, got into a bit of rhythm. I feel I was like doing okay, but not quite sure what happened on the strategy there. I'm not sure how I got absolutely destroyed by Skirley, but you know, that's just how he is. He's a good driver. But yeah, I'm just real happy to come out here, especially with 0 incidents, because I'm right on that bubble. I've been in the 20, so I just wanted to have a nice, clean, safe race, and that's exactly what happened. So I'm real happy.
No, that's the main thing, is getting through. Of course, I mean, you are in the top 10 in the championship still. So, and this is only going to help your position. Of course, you've been having, it's not been a season that's been lit on fire, but you've been relatively consistent, of course, all year. 6 top 10 finishes. It's just been tricky getting up into the final few slots for you, it seems.
Yeah, no, it was a bit of a tough start of the year. There was a few accidents that weren't necessarily my fault, but that's racing. But coming good lately. Have a few top 5s, you know, just knock on wood. But yeah, so it's a little bit better lately.
Well, hopefully, fingers crossed, this will be a bit of a turning point, and we'll see you back in the booth in a relatively short period as well, because we always love having you up here, of course. And again, congratulations on that top 2 finish. And as usual, the usual shout out and love to sponsors.
Yeah, big shout out to all the Mitch boys. Josh, Jason, Dan, Bob, Rob, obviously you guys for broadcast, doing a great job, even though I assume this is Dave's last call, is it?
Yeah, you know.
It is indeed.
Getting thrown into the hailfire coming to Dover.
Boys coming back.
Yeah, look out.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And just shout out to Skirley. He's just on fire right now and untouchable.
Yes, and speaking of Skirley, the winner of today's race from Darlington is one Mr. Michael Skerlock. Michael Skerlock, and congratulations on that victory.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I don't know. Everything just sort of landed in my lap on that one. Hamish is saying that I smoked him and that, but no, I was behind him for ages. I couldn't do anything. Like, I might have been near him, but it's a different matter when you try to pass someone. And then after a while, he was actually starting to pull away before he pitted. And I was going to try and undercut him to try and get around him, but he pitted first. And then, unfortunately, something happened there. Obviously, he got speeding fine, I'm guessing. And then Neil Pearson had some pace. He was coming up behind us. He caught us up heaps. And then I just let him go because I was going to try and pit then as well. And then something happened to him. He shouted out getting angry at somebody on the radio. He got a black flag for something. So I was like, a bit of bittersweet there for me. But, yeah, I mean, I was just going, oh, my God, what's going on here? I didn't even know I was in first until the very end, until Aiden started doing the spotting for me. And then he'd tell me, oh, no, you're like 15 seconds in front. And I'm like, oh, what? All right. Don't know how this has happened, but yeah. It just all fell in my lap, mate, really.
That's very much like you, Skirley, not to know you're in the lead and just be pacing around being like, oh, yeah, things aren't going too well. Oh, wait, I'm winning. Oh, that's what's going on. A brilliant drive from you. It looked really, really tricky out there, though, tonight.
Yeah, lucky I did a race or two earlier on this morning, and I sort of got the hang of it, because when I first started, I was like, I can't drive this thing. Like, I didn't know how anyone was going to get around. It was out of control. But then it just sort of comes to you in a while, and then you just got to be real soft on it, smooth, flowy, everything. But yeah, so I'm trying to read it. I'm trying to find out this big 3 thing,
Oh, it's the next Darlington you got to win. So you got to do it all over again.
Oh, mate, I was... No! See how much work I put into winning that thing?
I wanted to wait for that one because it's the Darlington Classic round, of course, and Charlotte 300.
600. Isn't it?
Yes.
I swear people were saying last week you got to win it next week. I swear. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it was the next Darlington on my calendar. Yeah. When there's another one, it's convenient. They can just push it on. No, we don't want to give it away yet.
Well, no, we want to give some other people. Well, nobody else has a chance, but we want to make it harder for you, Scully.
I have to win that one too. Then
that's it. You've got to do it all over again.
I was going. God wants me to have this thing. Look at it. He's working for me. Black flags. He's got speeding fine. God is real. Look out. Maybe he isn't. Maybe he
now all of a
isn't.
sudden,
Someone's laughing in my face.
This is just a prelude, mate. This is just a warm up.
Well, I thought there was a reason why I wasn't that excited at the end there. I was like, something doesn't feel right.
I don't feel that happy. Something's not right here. No, congratulations on a victory, on a brilliant victory, Scully. As I said, it looked really tricky out there, but a really good win for you there. Just having a look. Yeah, it's the Darlington throwback round after the Charlotte 300. So yeah, so you got to do it all over again. So next Darlington race, if you don't win Charlotte, then you got to win Darlington again.
Yeah, Charlotte's going to be hard. Just because I know some of the boys here got some setups they can pluck from some serious people, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't think I can tinker a pro setup, to be honest.
Oh, well, we'll have to find out. Look, it's going to make it a little bit more interesting for
I'll
you.
ride with God, mate. God now. God's on my side now.
That's it. We know that you're on a mission
him.
from God. That's it. You'll have to get some.
I don't know any
Ray-Bans.
prayers yet, though. Got to learn some prayers.
Prophet, your new nickname, mate, the Prophet Skurlock.
No, of course, before I let you go, Skirly, the usual thing of shout out and love to these sponsors.
Yeah, just Crank Esports. I can't even remember now. I'm too buggered about this.
We've ruined your night.
Back in the PVC pipe rig for another year. I can't remember what it is. iRace Designs. That's it. And Chris's virtual motorsport mentor, obviously. And FGM eCast and ANZCAR and Phil Otto and James Robbie and
and with that, we're going to cut.
and Luke. Well done, Luke. Third place. He come out of nowhere for that. And good drive to Hamish as well.
No, really good job. Well done to all three of you guys. Of course, Luke Trail, Michael Skurlock for Crank Esports.
Mirko finished.
Yeah, Mirko finished. That was that was a
He
good
got
one.
in and finished a race. That's bigger than any rig.
At least it's showed up, mate.
Yeah.
That's it. And of course, Hamish Gallagher for Mitch Motorsport. Thank you so much, guys. Congratulations on the top three, and we will see you all again, I'm sure, very soon.
All right, thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, boys.
So Scott's got to do another Darlington race to get that sim rig, of course. So he's got a little bit more work to do for the Grand Slam. But Dave, how was your feelings on that one?
Yeah, it was a pretty entertaining race. Definitely started off action packed. There was a lot going on, even under yellow, I guess you could say, or before the restart. So there was heaps going on, and then just a good long green flag run just to work a bit of strategy there. But the big surprise for me was Traher getting up into third. I missed that because we were only talking about him being in fourth, but he's actually ended up in third. So well done to him, and he made that podium, I guess, for that. So it's a surprise package there.
Yeah, really good driving. As I said, solid season so far from Traher. Really been taking in everything from the drivers around him and just working his way up the field and doing a great job in that car. So we, of course, we've finished Darlington, so that's one race down for the Cup. But we have some more races coming up, and of course we will be losing you next time out, Dave. So thank you so much for joining us up in the commentary booth. It's been a pleasure, and we wish you all the best for Dover on the 13th of May, and that will be shown here, of course, on FGM eCast for the ANZCAR Cup. But we have trucks back next week. So the ANZCAR Truck Series is back, and that's going to be starting off at Pocono. So 70 laps of Pocono on the 10th. That will be Monday night. And then we have our Xfinity Thunder Series starting back up once more on the Wednesdays. So that will be on May the 12th. We'll be starting that one at Dover as well. So Xfinity is back and ready to go. And also on FGM eCast, of course, we have the Oz Pro Am coming up. And that is going to be with the Dallara DW12 IndyCar at Monza. A very interesting race that one's going to be. So make sure to join us for that one. That's going to be a very exciting one on Tuesday night. Next Tuesday, the whatever the date is, the 11th. So Tuesday 11th for that one. Come and join us for that one because that's going to be really interesting for the bit of the wild card round for the Ozpro Am series as we head to Monza for that one. There's going to be some Indy cars taking some banking and regular track at that one. So that's going to be a fantastic race. As usual, we'll give a big shout out and thank you to AJ Insurance Company for helping keeping us on the air. Big thank you to Stuart Brown, of course, up doing the cameras. Big thank you to Dave Douglas as well, of course. Thank you so much, Dave, for all your help up here in the commentary booth. It's been a pleasure having you.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's been fun. I'm looking forward to... I'm actually just watching the replay of the 35 there on a restart and thinking, I've got to be in back next week, so I'll be comfortable up here, but itching to get back out there and race with these boys, so hopefully we can have a good run at Dover.
Yeah, it'll be fun watching you back out on track. Looking forward to it. And to all of you for joining us tonight, thank you so much for watching. We wouldn't be able to do this without you, so if you could leave a like, subscribe, and also comment, it always helps the algorithms out, keeps us going. But thank you so much from FGM Ecast and, of course, ANZCAR. We will see you all again soon. From myself, Carl Withey, bye-bye.